Recording in progress.
All right, thank you so much for joining me today. We will be using a strap or something long and skinny today, so definitely make sure you grab something and keep it close by throughout our practice. We'll start our practice by coming into a comfortable seated position. Maybe that's in your chair with your back straight, or maybe you're coming down onto the floor, a block, a pillow, or any other props that you might choose. Wherever we're at, we're lengthening through our spine, but we're letting our shoulders start to relax. We'll allow our eyes to close, or maybe we simply soften our gaze. As we transition inward today, we'll start to notice our breath. Breathing in through the nose if it's available, and out through the mouth. Letting the breath be long and extended, but intentional. And as we start to settle in here, we'll first notice the weight of our bodies sinking into the props that are supporting us. And we'll notice the temperature of the air that's around our skin. Beginning to check in with our external experiences, maybe noticing any sounds in your room, or even any odors or fragrances. And with that same attention to detail, we'll start to draw into our breath itself, into our body. We'll take a quick body scan, checking in with our muscles, our joints, and our ligaments. Noticing how they're feeling in this moment, any tweaks or twinges, any aches or pains. Not judging these things, grumbling about them in your heart space. Simply acknowledging them, offering them a little space before we start our movement practice in a little bit. We'll continue to focus on our breath as we start to breathe in and out, both through the nose if we have the ability today. And if not, you can always take it whatever feels better for you. We'll take this deep belly breath, imagining our lungs and torso expanding like a balloon on our inhale. And that slow, long exhale feels the entire torso start to deflate, like you're emptying a balloon. We'll continue this breath throughout our opening meditation, and maybe a little bit beyond even. We'll inhale deeply through the nose, feeling that torso expansion. And then we'll exhale completely, repeating this cycle. Fear, anxiety, sadness, jealousy, anger. These strong emotions can be a powerful teacher, guiding us towards growth and self-awareness. Today, let's explore a brief meditation to embrace these strong emotions as a learning tool in our own lives. We'll begin by connecting with an emotion, one of these emotions, one of these strong emotions, often referred to as negative emotions. Maybe one has been coming into your life a little bit lately, maybe a little bit of fear or anger, a little jealousy, maybe a lot of anxiety. Begin by tuning into that emotion, whichever one feels authentic to you in this moment, or really any other strong negative feeling. And at any point, if I refer to just one of those emotions and you're choosing a different one, know that you can substitute in your emotion for the one that I stated. We'll start to acknowledge that emotion silently, or maybe even aloud in your space. Say to yourself, I am afraid. I am jealous. I am anxious. I am depressed. Allow yourself to begin to fully experience what it feels like to say and allow yourself to feel those words, that emotion. You notice tensions in your shoulders, a heaviness in your abdomen, a racing heart, or any other bodily clues. We'll begin to practice shifting our perspective. Instead of saying, I am afraid, or I am jealous, take a breath and instead say, I feel fear, or I feel anxious, I feel jealous, or your emotion. Begin to notice that shift from I am to I feel. Really allow yourself to embrace this awareness. And instead of saying, I feel, start to say, I am aware of the feeling of fear in me. Or I am aware of the feeling of anxiety in me. Experience this awareness fully for just a moment. Observing this strong emotion from a place of open-hearted awareness. But can you shift that perspective just a little bit more? Can you start to welcome that strong emotion? Shifting again by saying, fear is welcome. Anger is welcome. Sadness is welcome. Or whatever your word is. And imagine welcoming that emotion like a vast ocean of awareness, embracing the waves of fear, jealousy. When you can do that, when you can welcome your awareness of that emotion, you start to connect and unite awareness and those strong emotions. Silently affirming awareness and fear are not separate. Awareness and these strong emotions are not separate. Be curious. Feel a sense of aliveness, the stillness of presence as you connect to all beings who experience these same strong emotions, which, if we're honest, is probably everyone. Knowing that, can you connect with compassion with others? As we draw this meditation towards its conclusion, maybe feel a new motivation to reach out and connect with others compassionately who might be feeling some of these same strong emotions. And remember that fear, jealousy, anger, anxiety, and depression need not paralyze us. Instead, we can use it to propel us towards deeper understanding and transformation. We'll begin to release that deep belly breath you're still taking, allowing yourself to find a more natural rhythm. And as you do, offer yourself a moment of gratitude that you took time out of your busy day, slow down, and connect with some strong emotions and some gentle movement. And as we move through our practice today, remember that every stretch, every pose is an opportunity to learn, to grow, and connect with the wisdom that your life and body offers today. Beautiful job. We'll start to wiggle our fingers and our toes. We'll flutter our eyes open. And let's start to add that gentle movement. If you're seated on the mat, we're going to come so our hands are behind us and our feet are in front of us, about hip distance apart. Extend the left leg. And then if we're seated in the chair, we're going to stay in our seated mountain, but come up to the edge of our chair. We're going to keep our knees bent, and then we're all going to take that right ankle and start to rest it on our left leg. You can always bring it down to the floor if you're seated in the chair, or onto a prop if having it all the way up on that knee is too much. But we're really focusing on letting that knee open out to the sides. If you're on the mat, you can keep that left leg extended long, or you can start to bend that right knee or left knee, drawing the left hip as close, heel as close to your hip as you'd like. Press into your hands to lengthen your spine from the mat. Drawing your heart a little closer to your shin. And we're noticing what's happening in that right hip. Great job. One last breath here. With our exhale, if we're seated on the floor, we'll extend that left leg long again. And we'll all capture our right foot and our right knee, either in our hand, our elbows, or maybe we grab that strap, start using it here, and wrap that around our foot, ankle, or knee. We're gonna rock the baby leg, rocking it left to right, noticing what kind of movement's happening in that hip today. You're always welcome to drop your hand to the chair or the floor outside of your right hip, rolling onto the outer hip or the upper glute, giving yourself a nice massage here. Great job. Our next inhale comes back to a straight spine. You can grab your foot, you can grab your ankle, you can grab behind your leg, or you can start to wrap your strap around your foot. But we're going to start to send our leg out lengthened. Have a bend in the knee or press out through the heel. But we're going to really focus on engaging our core so that our spine comes up really straight. And if that means we don't lift it as high, that's as fine. We really want to make sure we're engaging the core here in our Heron's pose today. One more breath here. Our next exhale, we release whatever prop our hands are strapped, and then see how gracefully we can lower that foot to the mat. Great job. Feel free to shake or wiggle it out. And with our next inhale, we'll switch to side two, bringing that left ankle onto right knee. Or your variation. Maybe bending through that right leg if you're on the mat. Maybe if you're seated in the chair, you drop your heart a little closer to your shin. Throughout our practice today, maybe coming back to that deep belly breath as a focus, throughout, just as a mind focus, a breath focus, as we're taking each pose. All right, inhale to either sit up or send that right leg out long. We're going to take our rock the baby leg. Start to rock our leg a little left to right. Noticing what's happening in the hip, in the glute. And whatever point you might want to bring that left hand down to the floor, to the chair, and rock into the outer edges of your hips or glutes. Beautiful job. All right, come back up to your straight spine. We'll hold behind our leg, hold the foot or ankle, send the leg out long, heron's pose. We're engaging our core to really lengthen up through the top of our spine. Doing a beautiful job. One last breath there. Great job. Exhale to release. Gracefully lower foot to the floor. Beautiful job. Go ahead and shake and wiggle. From here, for us seated on the floor, we're going to come into a wide-legged child's pose. We're going to take those knees wide, coming onto hands and knees. We're going to sink our hips back onto the floor, heels, or maybe a prop. And then start to sink the heart down, forehead down, as you stretch those arms along out in front of you. We're taking this from the chair. We're also going to widen our knees just a little bit. We're going to inhale, let those arms circle up and overhead. And with our exhale, we're going to drop our hands to our knees or maybe down towards a prop or the floor as we also hinge into that same extended forward fold. Beautiful child's pose. Inhale. If you're on the floor, you're going to lift about halfway. If you're seated in the chair, go ahead and draw those arms to float overhead. We're going to either walk the hands to the right or twist the torso to the right. And as we exhale, we're going to sink back into our child variation. Over to the right with just a little bit of a stretch through the left side body here. Great job. Inhale to come back up through center. And then we're going to take it over to the left. Again, maybe walking the hands or letting the hands float up overhead. And then with your exhale, sink it back into that child's pose variation. Great job. Inhale to come through center. If you're in child's pose, it's a halfway lifted position. And with our exhale, we're going to take a thread and a needle. We're going to take that left arm, we're going to thread it under the body over towards the right side of the room, starting to dip that right or left shoulder and left ear towards the mat or maybe towards a prop. You're taking this from the chair position. You'll take that same left arm across the torso, holding it with the right arm. You can also take this from a standing on your knees position if you're not really a fan of that child's pose option. We'll take just a few more breaths in whichever variation of thread the needle you're taking. Great job. Exhale to release. Second side. Right arm threads through, stretching through right shoulder. Feel your breath. All right, last breath here. Exhale unwinds us Brings us into our tabletop on the mat on hands and knees, or a seated mountain in the chair. And let's take a cat-cow here. We'll start to dip the spine as we lift the gaze, and then take it on the exhale in the opposite direction, moving through your spine as we gently are warming up the entire body. Alrighty, go ahead and pause in a straight spine. And then let's go ahead and come into a heroes or a half heroes pose. So if you're seated on the mat, you're going to bring your heels back, hips back towards your heels. You could bring your knees together if that feels good, but you don't have to. You can also bring a prop like a block or a pillow or blanket under the hips. Those toes can be tucked or untucked. We're taking our half heroes from the chair. It's a very similar position, but we'll take it one side at a time. So we're scoot over to the right so that the right hip is off. We're going to begin to walk that right leg back. You can keep those toes tucked or untucked. We're still drawing that knee down towards the floor, getting that stretch through that hip and quad muscle. Alrighty, so wherever you're at, go ahead and grab that strap once again. We're going to put it about shoulder distance apart. And as we inhale, we're gonna let those arms float up overhead. We're gonna begin to draw our hands in opposite directions, making this an active stretch the entire time. Just keep pulling those straps in opposite direction. With our next exhale, begin to bend at the elbows, letting the strap come down, down, down with your breath. Maybe it stops at your neck. And then inhale it back up. Now you can take it in front of the face or behind the head. We'll give you a slightly different stretch depending on which one you choose. We don't want to go fast here. We want to continue to pull the hands apart. Noticing how that feels. Beautiful job. One last time. Great job. With the next exhale, drop your hands to your lap. If you're seated in a hero's pose, just stay there for a moment. If you're on the chair, we're going to switch up to the opposite side. So coming over to the left side, taking that left leg back. We're all going to then take the strap in between our hands and we're going to widen it. Be as wide as you want. A nice big Y as we lift those hands overhead. Beautiful job. Your next exhale, drop your right hand down towards the right side of your hip, whether you're in a half heroes or the full heroes. We're getting that nice stretch through the left side body here. Great job. Inhale to bring it back through center. With our exhale, we're going to drop the left hand towards the mat. Now, if you're seated in the chair, you might open that right leg a little bit more to the right side, counterbalancing and being mindful not to fall out of your chair here as you're getting that nice stretch through the right side. Great job. Inhale to bring everything back through center. Exhale to release the arms. All right, you're on the mat. From our hero's pose, we're going to come onto hands and knees and tabletop. But then go ahead and drop your elbows right under your shoulders. We're setting up for a puppy pose here. If you're seated in the chair, we'll go ahead and come off of our chair. You can always use your wall or the back of the chair. If you're using the back of the chair, you might want a blanket to cover to help cushion the elbows. Wherever we're at, our elbows are resting about shoulder distance apart. The hands can be parallel or fingers interlaced in that triangle position. And we begin again to walk the hips back, keeping on our knees if we're on the mat. Keeping hips high as we drop our head in between our arms, getting that nice puppy stretch through the side body. Finding that big, deep belly breath. Beautiful job. Our next inhale finds our way up to a mountain pose. All right, from our mountain pose, we're gonna grab that strap one more time. We're gonna thread it behind our back. Now this one, I can't really tell you where the right spot for your hands is. It's something that's gonna be a little bit of trial or error for you. The closer your hands are to each other, the more difficult this next strip move will be. The wider your arms are, the more comfortable it might be. So finding a spot wherever between wide and tight that feels good. We're going to start to push our hands back behind us, lifting them to their highest position. And maybe that's all we do. And lift it up, we exhale to lower, we lift it up, we exhale lower. Maybe we can lift them up and start to floss through the shoulder blades. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Again, if your hands are too close to each other, that might be impossible. And depending on your shoulders, that still might be impossible, even if they're wide. So finding what feels good for your shoulders and enjoying what your body is telling you today in this. Beautiful flossing. Go ahead and exhale, release the strap. Notice what's happening in your arms and your shoulders. Come to our mountain pose. And then let's step our left foot back, coming onto the ball of the foot and lifting up onto the heel. We'll inhale, we'll let one or both arms float up. Now you're always welcome to keep one on a prop if you'd like a little more stability. And with our next exhale, we're gonna lean over towards the right. Good job. Inhale through center, step that left foot in, right foot steps out, lean to the right or left. Inhale back through center. And with our exhale, we're going to swan dive and do a forward fold, bringing hands to floor, legs, or a prop of our choice. Keeping a nice, generous bend in the knees. Let's inhale and halfway lift. Exhale and fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, take a slow roll, coming all the way to standing. Circle arms up and overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms. Great job. Inhale, tall mountain, and then bring it down through a prayer into your mountain pose. Beautiful job there. From our mountain, let's begin to step our left foot back, opening it to a warrior two. So the toes come out to the side of the mat, the hips are opening out to the side. We begin to bend through that front knee, and eventually we let one or both arms float up to a T, pulling fingertips in opposite directions. Beautiful job. I'm going to take a lovely little warrior flow, being mindful not to push yourself, but allow yourself to find a breath movement experience. We'll exhale as we reverse our warrior, taking our back hand to our hip. Our front hand can come to the chair or maybe within your head. The back hand can even slide down the back leg as you gaze towards your back foot and you keep a nice bend in the front knee. Beautiful. Inhaling through our warrior two. Finding side angle, our hand or elbow can come to our top choice or elbow. We send that back hand overhead towards the ceiling or alongside the ear, being mindful that this hip is not pointing up towards the ceiling, but we're drawing it in by engaging our core and engaging through the quads. Beautiful side angle. Inhale to come back through warrior two. We'll straighten that front leg, reverse your warrior. Great job. With our next exhale, we're gonna bend through that front knee, warrior two. And we're gonna set up for humble warrior. So we're gonna bring a prop, whether it's our chair or maybe a couple of blocks, at about a 45-degree angle from our hips on the inside of that front right leg. We'll inhale, circle the arms back to a T when you're ready. Inhale, bring them up alongside the ears. And with our exhale, we'll start to hinge at the hips, bringing our hands to any height on our prop as we find a little bit of a downward dog inspired movement in the upper body, dropping our hands in between the arms as we sink inside that front leg a little more locked. Beautiful job. Inhale to bring it back up to warrior two. Straighten that front leg, reverse your warrior for release. Great job. Exhale to step it in, mountain pose. We'll take that on second side. Right foot steps back, warrior two. Take your time, you got this. Really pull those fingertips apart and squeeze the shoulder blades together. Pull the thighs together, keeping it active and engaged through the core. You're doing beautiful. All right, we know the moves we're gonna take. So it's just allowing ourselves to connect with the movement. Checking in, forgetting the fear, anxiety, worry, or whatever else we might be feeling in this moment. Inhale, reverse. Bent front knee. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, reverse with a straight front leg. Exhale, warrior two. Set up for humble warrior on this side. Sink back into your warrior two. Inhale, arms alongside the ears. Exhale, find that surrender, humble warrior. Inhale, warrior two. Straight reverse, straight leg reverse warrior. Beautiful job. Exhale to step in. Mountain pose. All righty, we're gonna take a balance challenge before we move into our cool down portion. So as always, you're welcome to have a prop nearby for a little support. In this particular balance challenge, you may or may not want your strap as well, or even a block. So feel free to grab any of those and have them close by if you like. We come into our mountain pose. We begin to shift our weight over to the left as we lift those right knees. Feel free to take an ankle roll in one direction and then the other if you'd like. You can hold your knee, you can hold behind your leg, you could use your strap here as an option. Or you can let the leg dangle, it's all up to you. Your left hand could be on your hip, on your prop, out to the side. All right, we're gonna then open the knee out to the right side. Keep a generous bend in your standing knee. Finding a spot on the floor that doesn't move can really be helpful here. And then we're gonna start to draw our right foot over to the left leg. We're gonna land in a tree pose. And then once you're feeling stable here, maybe you start to grow the branches of your choice. whether it be a cactus, circle, Y, maybe a tree and a tornado, a Joshua tree. It's all up to you. One last breath here. All right, with our exhale, if you grew branches, bring them to your hips or to your prop, and then start to bring your right knee back in front of you, and then extend the leg out. So just like that heron pose. And then as gracefully as we can, we lower it slowly to the mat. Great job. Feel free to take any movement you need here. And let's set up for second side. Inhale, lifting the left knee this time. Finding your balance, finding your breath. Again, you tap into a tool, quote unquote, negative emotion while we're doing this practice today. Maybe go a little deeper. Use it as a moment to ask yourself why. Exhale, open to the side. One more breath here. Tree pose. Inhale, maybe grow branches. You could grow the same branches, you might grow different branches. You might find that you are more or less stable on this ankle and leg. You're doing great. One last breath here. Exhale to release your arms. Start to draw that left knee to center. Extend the leg out long. And slowly, gracefully lower. Beautiful job. Feel free to take any movement your body needs here. After that, great big old stretch. We're gonna bring our feet about hip distance apart with the toes out and the heels in. If you're taking chair poses, do this in front of your chair. With our next inhale, we're going to circle those arms up and overhead, reaching them up tall. And with our exhale, we're going to sink it into a deep squat. If you're doing chair poses, you're going to be just hovering off the chair for a moment. Maybe hands come to a prayer. And if you're taking it all the way down, maybe you bring a block under the hips, or maybe a couple of blocks safely stacked, or your back against a wall. Anything that feels supportive for you here. Knees wide, spine as straight as we can. One last breath wherever we are at. And with our next exhale, go ahead and come on down to your seat. If you're taking floor poses, go ahead and come to sitting on your knees and tuck those toes as you rise up tall. We're going to take a camel variation, so you're welcome to bring some blocks back by your heels if you like to use blocks. We're seated in the chair. We're going to make sure we're on the edge of the chair. With our inhale, we're going to let both arms float up by the ears. And then with your inhale, let your gaze come up towards your hands. We'll inhale, start to push our hips forward and lean the gaze and the hands back. And this is always a welcome option for our camel pose. Inhale to draw the hands back overhead, the gaze to the horizon. Our next exhale can allow our hands to come to our hips, maybe to the chair, either the back or to the seat of the chair. We continue to press our hips forward, lift our heart, maybe start to lift our gaze, coming into that back bend, and you can keep your hands right where they are or drop them to your props or heels. Taking this beautiful camel opening through the body, through the heart space. One last breath here. Exhale to release, coming to a straight spine. Alrighty, We're gonna come in over into a seat, maybe on a block or a pillow if you'd like, or in your chair, of course. We're gonna start to open the legs wide. If you're seated in the chair, you're welcome to keep the knees bent and the soles of the feet flat, or you can extend the legs if that feels good for you. On the floor, same thing, we're extending our legs wide. We can have a bend in the knee, we can put a prop under the knees, we can push through the heels and flex through the toes, but we're keeping our spine straight no matter where we're at. If it doesn't feel straight, maybe trying to change one of those things up so that you can keep it straight. With our inhale, we'll let our arms float up overhead. And with an exhale, we'll drop our hands, if you're seated in the chair, to your knees. And if we're seated on the floor, maybe to the floor, or grabbing a prop. And again, in the chair, you can also grab a prop here. And then we'll start to hinge into a forward fold, noticing what that feels like through our lower back, our spine, our glutes. This big, wonderful, wide-legged forward fold. On the floor, it can be sometimes called pancake pose. I don't know that I could ever get my torso that close to the floor to ever make it look like a pancake, but I'm not afraid to try. Keep working at it. All righty, with our inhale, walk yourself up to a straight spine. We're then going to take our right leg, we're going to cross it over our left leg. We're going to take it either inside or outside of that leg, whatever feels good to you. You can also have it on a prop if you'd like. You're seated in the chair, you can just have it crossed at the ankle or the knee here. And we're going to take it into a sage twist. So we're going to lengthen our spine on our inhale. With our exhale, we're going to turn towards the right. If you want, you can capture the knee with your hand, your elbow, or maybe hook the elbow outside of the leg as you twist to the right. Seated in the chair, it might just be easier to rest the hand outside the knee. Beautiful sage twist. Exhale to release and switch sides, crossing left leg, sitting up tall, exhale, twisting towards the left. Capturing left knee with your right hand or elbow. Beautiful job. Our next exhale unwinds everything. You're on the mat. Go ahead and roll down onto a ball shape, curling your knees in towards your chest. And allow yourself to rock from side to side or up and down the spine. And if you're seated in the chair, we're going to draw our knees towards each other. We're going to start to roll our spine down over our legs and keep your hands on your knees or let them just hang down by the ankles. And curl chin into chest. Really create the same ball shape from a seated position. And just like the rocking and massaging on the floor, maybe you find a little rock left to right, giving your glutes one final massage. And the further back on the chair you are, the more of your bottom and legs will get the massage. Beautiful. From here, we'll start to unwind from our ball into a full body stretch. Taking the arms up overhead, the legs out long. Beautiful job. We'll have one last ab movement before we truly end our practice. So starting to bring our legs into constructive rest or seated mountain if we're on the chair. We'll draw our hands to interlace the fingers and let the back of the head rest, cradled by the hands with the elbows out wide to the side. We're gonna take some yogi bicycles here, and I'm gonna give you many options along the way. So finding the point that you would like to stick at and taking it from that point forward. So we'll all start by engaging through our core, starting to curl our shoulders and our head either away from the chair or away from the floor, just lifting just a little bit. Keep both feet on the floor and begin by taking your right elbow over towards your right knee. Now they don't need to come close, they don't need to touch, we're just getting that oblique twist. Inhale to open back up. Try to keep that shoulders lifted. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. You are welcome to always reset in between as well. Inhale to come back to the center. Exhale, go ahead and take a rest here, letting shoulders and head come back to the mat, straightening up through the spine if you're in the chair. And then we'll take it a second time. Again, if you loved that last version or hated that last version, maybe that's the one you stick with. Second option, we inhale, curl up those shoulders, curl up the torso, and then lift the opposite foot, letting elbow and knee come towards each other. Exhale, come through center, keeping the shoulders curled, and then take it to the other side. Continuing in this fashion, left to right, or to take it up another notch, start with the knees lifted, and as you pedal, you'd extend the opposite leg. We'll take this left to right, taking your bicycles at your pace, being mindful that this is the end of your practice, and maybe you'd like a little bit less, or maybe you want to end it with a little fun. And you're doing great. Really concentrate on slow and the oblique muscles. Balance out both sides one more time. Come back through center. Take a 5-pointed star from right where you're at. So extending arms, extending legs, reaching in opposite directions. And with a great big deep belly breath, we'll melt ourselves into our final resting position. You're always welcome to take a corpse pose or a constructive rest. You can stay in your chair or move to someplace a little more comfortable. You could take the legs up the wall or add pillows, blankets, sweater, or even some socks so that you can start to come into a place where you can relax on command. We'll take a deep breath in. And as we exhale, we'll feel that transition inward. Maybe closing the eyes or maybe simply softening the gaze. We won't alter the breath in any way. We'll simply allow it to be its natural rhythm. And in this moment, we'll start to concentrate on our breathing. In the quiet stillness of your mind, let your thoughts gently settle like falling leaves on a tranquil pond. Breathing in deeply, drawing in the essence of the present moment, and exhaling slowly, releasing any remaining tension or worries that may linger within you. This is the beginning of our journey into mindfulness, a practice of cultivating awareness and presence in every moment of our lives. Mindfulness invites us to observe our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations without judgment. or attachment. It is a state of open-hearted curiosity and acceptance, where we embrace each experience as it arises, whether it be pleasant or unpleasant. In the realm of mindfulness, those strong emotions that we were talking about at the beginning of class, anger, fear, jealousy, sadness, anxiety. They are not seen as an enemy to be conquered, but in mindfulness, they are a valuable teacher, guiding us towards deeper understanding and growth. These strong emotions, like all emotions, are a natural part of our human experience. They arise within us as a response to perceived threats and challenges, triggering psychological reactions that prepare us for action. Yet in our modern world, fear often manifests not as a response to immediate danger, but as a result of our thoughts and beliefs about the future. In cultivating our mindfulness, we learn to recognize these strong emotions as they arise within us, acknowledging their presence with compassionate awareness. Instead of allowing these strong emotions to control us, instead we can choose to explore it with curiosity, asking ourselves, what is the root of these emotions? What beliefs or assumptions am I holding on to that are fueling it? And by shining the light of awareness on our strong emotions, we can begin to unravel their grip on our minds and our hearts. These strong emotions can be a powerful catalyst for transformation if we are willing to engage with them mindfully. They invite us to step outside our comfort zones and to confront our limitations and beliefs about ourselves and the world around us. When we lean into our fears with courage and openness, we create space for growth and expansion in our lives. Moreover, these strong emotions can serve as a compass, guiding us towards our deepest desires and passions. Often the things that we fear the most are the very things that hold the greatest potential for our growth and fulfillment. By embracing our fears and other strong emotions and moving towards them with intention, we can start to unlock new pathways of possibility and discover the fullness of our potential. In the presence of mindfulness, we cultivate a sense of inner strength and resilience that allows us to navigate the uncertainties of life with grace and ease. We can learn to trust in our ability to face whatever challenges may arise, knowing that we have the capacity to respond with wisdom and compassion and kindness in every moment. So as you continue on your journey of mindfulness, the rest of tonight, tomorrow, throughout the week and month, remember to embrace those strong emotions when they arise as a sacred teacher, guiding you towards deeper self-awareness and transformation. Allow yourself to lean into that discomfort, maybe even welcome it, knowing that on the other side lies the freedom and expansiveness of your truest self. In this way, those strong emotions become not an obstacle to be conquered and overcome, but a stepping stone on the beautiful path to your awakening. Begin to take the deepest breath of our day so far. Sealing in whatever emotions came up during today's class, the lessons you've learned. We'll then begin to take any movement our body is craving as we start to wake ourselves up, getting back into the present moment. And as you're ready, fluttering the eyes open and coming up in your own time, in your own way, to an upright position, facing the view. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great week ahead of you and that you take moments to connect with those strong emotions and let them teach you a little lesson here and there. Thank you so much. Until next time.